I love this phrase, disconnect to reconnect. I've been thinking about it ever since I started speaking with Ileana. And now we have Anne, our final speaker today to inspire us. We talk a lot about responsibility, and early on in my career, somebody said to me, you are responsible for your own career and the choices that you make. Well, Anne's going to talk about the choices that she's made. Welcome.
Good evening. So I'm going to talk to you about choices, and I'm going to talk to you about decisions, and I'm going to talk to you about why both of those are really important and why we have to use them and be better at them, because they're the key to being able to learn to be better at life, to be better at being all in on life. Because the thing about it is that no matter who you are in the world, where you are or what you're doing, you always have a choice. And the choice you have is your attitude. The choice you have is how you respond. Now, you might be in a lovely setting like this, you might be in a war zone. But what is yours, no matter what, is the choice of what you do with that. And yet we give it away. We don't use it. We don't think we're giving it away. We think that circumstances are so hard sometimes that we can't actually choose, that there is no other way. And it's not something that's unique to women. It just disproportionately affects women. And we find ourselves frequently in situations that undermine us, make us uncomfortable, make us unhappy. And we stay in them because we forget we have a way to change them. Choice is what allows us to say to the world, this is who we are. Our choices define our actions, and our actions are what will allow us to be who we want to be. I'm not saying they're easy. Choice can be hard. But sometimes the hardest choices are the ones you absolutely have to make. I found myself about 10 years ago sitting in my kitchen over a lukewarm cup of coffee and looking at the wall, contemplating my life and feeling absolutely disenchanted with the whole thing. Stay-at-home mother of 3, and while I adore my children, I'm not a good stay-at-home mother. I'm a terrible stay-at-home mother. And yet, by default, I had found myself being a stay-at-home mother. Nobody's fault. It just kind of happened. And that was the real problem. I was living my life by default and not by design. I wasn't making choices. I wasn't saying, I want this and not that. Things were just happening, and I was kind of being carried along by a current that wasn't mine. And I wasn't being good at my life. I wasn't being good for anybody around me. I didn't smile. I was no fun. I was dutiful. I was doing what was expected. And I was keeping things tidy. Now, the thing about that is that women, I think men may do it a little bit, but women definitely do it a lot. We keep life tidy. But no one goes down in the history books for keeping life tidy. You barely even get thanked for keeping life tidy. And I was damned if this was all that my life was going to be. Because when I was having that conversation with myself, I was saying, imagine if I died tomorrow. Now, it's a very morbid conversation, but it happened. If I died tomorrow, who would miss me enough to bother coming to the funeral? And if you're looking for a bit of impetus in your life, there's nothing like having that conversation. Because while changing anything in my life seemed like a very big ask, the idea that nobody would miss me outside of a very small circle of family and friends terrified me into action. And I didn't revolutionize my life overnight. It was a big, messy, long decade of toing and froing, of stress and anxiety, and of laughs and fun and new challenges and a lot of positive things. But it's not to be underestimated. It can be absolutely daunting. But you can't go back. and you actually don't want to go back. So I was wondering, what do I want to be remembered for? So I'm not going to go down in history for being tidy. What do I want to be remembered for? And I made a choice, and I said, well, I would love to go down in history as a Nobel Prize winner or an Olympic medalist, but those kind of grandiose life objectives just aren't accessible to me. And yet I still wanted to do something that was me, and that amounted to something, and that I could be proud of. And I said, well, I want to be remembered for being kind. I want to be remembered for being the person who made a room a bit brighter. I want to be remembered for the person who would always help when not helping was the easy option. And sometimes when I see people excelling around me, you know, amassing wealth and accolades, I feel happy for them, and I kind of sometimes say, well, is my ambition for myself enough? Am I doing my life justice by only wanting to be kind? Part of me doubts a little bit, but not for long. Because I know by choosing to be kind every day, by choosing to help, I will impact positively the lives of people around me. And if nothing else, that's enough. So I don't need to be scared anymore about having a conversation with the wall about nobody missing me. I may not revolutionize anything, but I know that I won't have wasted my time here. And it gives me, instead of that feeling of anxiety that I used to have, I have a very solid feeling of, I've chosen to do this. It's like an anchor. And purpose is absolutely the best antidote to life's adversity. So when I think about what am I doing, how am I spending my days, I can say with absolute certainty that no matter what else life throws at me, I'm giving living my very best shot. Thank you.